Hi there. The video I had planned to film today, it has to be delayed or postponed for a few days. So I thought, well, I can do a questions and answers video for you. Before we move on to the questions, can I just say that please consider following me on other platforms as well. I have a blog, I'm on BitChute, and you have the Instagram, and you will find all the links in the video descriptions, in this video description as well. So you can go there and pick and choose where you want to follow. And I just want also to say that, of course, I will be here, you know. I will be filming videos, uploading videos here on YouTube. Don't worry about that, but you never know what can happen, you know. So please consider following me on another platform as well. These questions have been sent to me by my patrons, so thank you for that, and to the members to this channel, and the subscribers on Subscribestar. Okay, question 1. Do you think the social communications will get worse in these times? Short answer is yes. Obviously, if you lock people in their homes, we will get, best case scenario, we get socially awkward, you know. So it's not a good thing when it comes to social interaction. Question number 2. Do you write when you're in the outdoors, like on camping trips, hikes, etc.? It's my #1 source of artistic inspiration, it says here. Well, I very rarely do write when I'm in the outdoors, but I do make notes. Lots of notes, but I don't sit down and write in the outdoors. I have planned to do so a few times, but I never got to it, you know. But I do make notes, yeah. Some of these questions are quite long, so I'll try to shorten them. Question number 3. We need advice to prepare for what we all know is coming. How do you suggest we prepare to survive the coming worldwide strife? Guidance, please, my friend. Well, I have made videos where I try to talk about what I feel is very obvious, and if you haven't seen those videos, you'll find them here on my channel. I think I won't go back and repeat everything I've said, but one of the most important things is that we need to decide. We need to draw that line. We need to decide up front what we're okay with, what we can accept and what we cannot accept. And it's a very difficult. I don't have a short answer. I guess that's why I've made several videos about this. Question number 4. How much are young people's views in Norway influenced by the media, particularly the narrative being promoted in the US? Also, how much... Yeah, that's 2 questions. I'll take for this one first. How much are young people's views in Norway influenced by the media? Well, a lot. And I get surprised sometimes to see, when I realize how much, when we had the whole BLM hysteria, it took off, but only for a day or 2, you know, and then it was kind of back to normal. We are in Norway after all. There's this very difficult, for some people, difficult exercise that we all should do. It's to force ourselves to get information and news from opposing views. From, for instance, you know, we have the mainstream old media in Norway. It's very left-leaning, and so I try to balance that with getting news also from right-leaning sources. So that's how I do it, and I also fact check a lot. You know, we should all fact check, because these news, both social media and the so-called authoritative sources, they get things wrong, and intentionally too, very often. The second part here on question number 4: how much wilderness do you have access to, and have you visited the Arctic Circle? And well, we have a lot of wilderness here, and yes, I have visited the Arctic Circle. So yeah, short answer there. Okay, question number 5. A long one. Have you considered moving away from Norway to another country where you could find a large secluded plot of land with nearby access to the ocean, and if so, where would that be? Can you name a couple places on the planet that would be interesting for you to make that move from more peaceful and isolated life? Well, I have traveled quite a bit, so there are many places in the world that are very nice, and it also says here in this question that I already know it wouldn't be somewhere with a hot climate. Well, I like the seasons and I like the winter, you know. Most of the places that I've visited, and I've thought to myself, well, I could live here, and most of those places are not an option because of the way the rules and regulations and things like that. I have quite a few deal breakers when it comes to where I want to live. Norway is quite Norway is actually quite, we have a lot of freedom here. It's not, yeah, I'll get back to that in another video, I guess, but I like Norway. So the only downside, well, there are some downsides, but the major downside to Norway is the tax. It is insane, and for me, it's very expensive to live in Norway because of the taxes. So, but yeah, I'll move on to number 6. What is your opinion of the way Vikings have? Sorry. What is your opinion of the way Vikings have been portrayed during the past 10 years or so, of increased interest in Norse culture? What do you think the ideal expression of their values would look like in a film? Would you like your novels to be made into movies or series? Well, to answer the last question first, absolutely, I would love to see my novels be made into movies or a series. When it comes to the way Vikings have been portrayed, it's you know, they look like they don't look like Vikings. They look like fantasy. I don't know what they look like with their crazy haircuts and everything. It's it is for me a minor thing, because the most important thing is that these TV series and all that, it increases people's fascination for the Viking Age, and then people can go and do their own research. It is a bit of a nuisance that you have these people who have redesigned the Vikings into something that they never looked like. But the short answer is that I think it's great that we have had this surge in interest for everything Viking lately. Question number 7. I feel that you are very close to God. Your thoughts are inspired. Do you ever consider what role God has in everything that is going on? Also, how did the Vikings care for their elderly? To answer the last question first, we don't know for sure how they cared for their elderly. we know that they didn't live as long as we live. What we have today, in at least in our the western part of the world, we have a very long period of time at the end of our lives where we are old and unable to do many things, and that period of time at the end of our lives was much shorter in the Viking Age, I believe. Do you ever consider what role God has in everything that's going on? Then my question would be, what is God? What is God? I am not a Christian, but I do understand that for Christian people, nature is, and many Christian people have told me this, that for them nature is an expression of God. So I try not to be, when Christian people, they look out on this field that I'm sitting next to, a beautiful field, and they say, well, God is in everything. This is, can you feel, this is God. And I can understand that, there is something divine about nature and the spirits of nature. I'm a Norse heathen, and but in a way I feel it's not so different maybe. I try to look at what do we have in common instead of looking at the differences. So nature is my God, that's a simple answer. Do you ever consider what role God has in everything that is going on? I don't know. I do think about it, but it's one of those questions that you never get an answer to. It's yeah. Question 8, do you ever have a break from the news and politics to retain your sanity? Yeah, well, I actually limit my interaction with the modern world a lot, and much more than 99% of other people, I would say. If you go on social media and watch TV all the time, it's not healthy. That's my answer. It's not healthy. So yes, I do have breaks. Well, I would rather say that I take breaks from my normal life to check on the news sometimes. And yeah. 9. What advice would you give to those who have prepared to leave civilization but alone and with a young child? Also, what would you say is something invaluable to have if and when that needs to happen? Well, I have never been in that particular situation myself. So my advice would be to try to reach out to other people who have been or are now in that situation. And they would probably be able to give you to give you a better answer. But I think it's very difficult to be totally on your own. So try to avoid that. Try to build a network. Try to have someone that you can trust and have access to clean water and food. That's, yeah, I made some videos about that as well, I guess. Yeah. Number 10. Was it a conscious decision to be a writer, or did you just start writing? Well, I did just start writing, but I also made a conscious decision when I started writing that this would be my life. I started writing to become a published author. What kind of equipment do you use to record your videos? Well, go and check it out in the video descriptions. All my equipment, there are links to all my equipment in the video descriptions. Number 12. How did you become such a great outdoorsman? I don't know if I'm great outdoors man. I am an outdoors man, but it's been a natural part of my life from since I was a kid. And I guess the more time you spend out in outside of the concrete jungle, the more experience you get, I guess. But there are obviously many people, many outdoors people, many outdoors men, outdoors women who are more experienced than I am, of course. 13. For your time powerlifting, do you regret the damage? I did powerlifting, but even knowing the damage now, I do not regret it. I am 53. Well, I do not regret the damage. That being said, there are people who my age and people I competed with and that are a lot more damaged than I am. I still do powerlifting, believe it or not, and I don't plan to stop. I do not compete because, and I guess I could, but I'm not at the level I was, so that's a bit of a, it's like, if I can't, in my mind it's like this, if I can't deadlift 300 kilos, I don't want to compete. That would be feel a little bit shameful to me, I sometimes when I sit out in the woodland here, I just watch the trees and sky, and I can, I stop talking, and maybe there's a connection with God or nature there. Maybe that's what's happening. Just to go back to that question, if I feel there is a God here. If I had to give that God a name, I feel Odin is the name I would use. It's very hard to explain, and maybe that's for another video. It's also very personal, but yeah. Okay, long video. I hope you enjoyed it, and just me talking. Yeah, so that's all for now. I hope you'll have a wonderful day or night, whatever it is, where you are now. And if you are not already a subscriber, please subscribe. And go to the video description below and check out, I'm on the links, I'm on other platforms as well, as I said. And yeah, I think that's all. Have a wonderful day or night. Bye.